Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to LadyGang. I am Becca Tobin here with Jack Vanek and Kelty Knight.
Hello.
Hi, ladies. I was just telling the girls that I look like Kid Rock today because I'm in like a trucker hat. My hair is absolutely horrific and I'm in like a weird glasses, and we just had someone so beautiful, or we have someone so beautiful coming on the podcast today, and I'm like quite embarrassed, but
I mean, I feel like this is what happens every time. It's like sometimes one of us looks great. Well, one of you two looks great.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the two look horrible.
Yeah.
But this time we all look like trash.
Trash
and we
people.
have a gorgeous lady coming.
Darn it. Well, it's time for
Good week.
Yes, it is.
Bad week. Oh, no.
I would like to kick it off because my good week is really exciting. I mean, it's not that exciting for many people other than myself. I am officially in my cooking era.
Ooh. What are you cooking?
I've been a baker. I've gone through really good baking, and I'm good at baking because I feel like it's very by the books. I like that it's very
measured.
Yes. And like with cooking, it's too vague, you know?
Yeah.
However, I've been in this routine of going to the farmer's market on Sundays and going to like the produce stand and picking out whatever they've got. It's very seasonal. Lately, it's been zucchini and squash. And I gave myself a challenge that I was going to take it home and I was going to create my own recipe. I was going to use my insides, not the internet, to tell me what to do. And
Okay, Martha.
I love my insides.
my insides.
I'm going with my insides and not the internet.
Okay.
And I must say, when I'm not following instructions on someone's weird blog about making their pasta, I have good instincts for cooking. And I made my own marinara with crushed tomatoes, the zucchini and the squash. I added some garlic, some basil, and I made delicious noodles. And I made this delicious pasta. And that was just the beginning. That was just scratching the surface. Last night, I made gluten-free, dairy-free fried chicken with plantain chips.
Wow, that sounds so good.
It was bomb. So I am officially a chef, and I just want you all to know that I think this might be the most proud I've ever been in a new skill.
How's Zach feeling about it? Is he excited? Because he's a picky eater, right?
That's the worst part, is that Zach is the worst person to cook for, and so is Ford. But I'm not letting it stop me.
What is Zach's pickiness? Like, what does he not like?
So Zach doesn't eat cold food.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
He doesn't eat.
That's so insane.
He does not eat salads. He does not eat anything uncooked. So he does. The only thing that is the exception is sushi. He won't eat a cold sandwich. He's very, very picky about he eats like 3 vegetables, and they have to be prepared very specifically. And even when you cook them the way that he likes, he's the guy that takes like 3 broccoli. It's
so funny.
Feeding a toddler. He's strictly meat. I hate cooking meat, except the fried chicken last night. Felt pretty confident. We're opposites. And I think that's why I've never been a really good cook, because I've never had anybody to cook for. But now I'm cooking for myself and telling the boys in my life to go themselves and fend for themselves. If they don't like it, they don't have to eat it. So that's me. Well, Chef Becca, my bad week is Ford's been going to school. He still cries every single time we drop him off.
He does not.
Yes, he does. Is
He's
weeks.
not getting used to it?
He's fine after 30 seconds. They send us pictures and he's fine. It's the transition of knowing that like we're leaving him, whatever. We did send him to school every single day so far with like a little lovey, like a little small blanket. And that's like his comfort, whatever. So every single day. Zach texted me this morning. He did drop off. He goes, "Is there an extra lovey at school?" And I said, "No, why?" He said, "We forgot it." And he was screaming, walking into the classroom, "I need my lovey."
Oh, no.
So then I had to make the 20-minute drive there and the 20-minute drive home right before we started recording to bring his lovey to the front of the school. I never said I would be this mom, but the thought of him thinking that I failed him in his packing of his school things was just going to eat away at me all day. So that happened. I'm a terrible mom, but then I tried to make up for it.
I'm literally crying right now. Like, it is breaking my heart. I'm thinking about the lovey not being there.
Well,
I know.
I
need a lovey and I'm 42.
I know.
Is he still at the age where like when you leave, he thinks you're leaving forever? Like when does that change? Or does he know you're coming back?
It's crazy because Jamie told me to let him watch that TV show, Daniel Tiger. There's an episode that says Daniel goes to school. And in it, they do, I think I talked about this on the podcast. It was such good advice because they sing this song like grown-ups always come back. And when I pick Ford up, he knows I'm picking him up every single day. And I pick him up and I carry him out to the car. And he's like, I was happy today. And I go, you were? And he's like, yeah, I knew you were coming back. I was happy. I go, but you cried when I dropped you off. He's like, yeah, I was sad then.
Well,
it's like
you
he's
could still be sad. He just wants to be around you.
He's just like living in the present, you know, like such a lesson where he's like, yeah, I can know that I'm having the fun days ahead, but I can still cry because you're leaving me in that moment. It's just being a parent is just one big heartbreak after the other.
I'm sure. Oh my God. Well, that's so cute. What a little sweetie. I'll go next. So my good week is we are finally starting demo on my house in 1 week. Well, we'll probably be demoing at this moment. It's been a whole situation. It's been like 3 months since we've been here. We had to wait on a lot of permits and stuff from the city because we're knocking down walls and all this shit. But I'm so excited to finally like start the process.
You're so demos, like it's so fun, and then you just are living in hell for months. So
I know. Well,
enjoy your walls while you have them, because there's going to be dust in every orifice of your body.
Well, I can't. We're going to stay at my parents for when they're demoing. Idea. I can't. I mean, I'm so allergic and I have this like mystery rash everywhere that I'm like, I can't be in dust in the house to make it worse. So,
did your mystery rash start when you moved into the house?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
It's
Is it
something
mold?
in the house.
I don't know. But then it continued on my vacation. I don't know. And then it kind of went, it's a whole thing. I'm not sure. I need to go to a different dermatologist because mine told me it was a mosquito bite, which it obviously is not. I'm having issues with doctors lately.
That's a real reach, you know? Like I could have looked at that and been like, that's not a mosquito bite.
Dude, I was so pissed at her. She didn't even like get close to my, like didn't get close, didn't touch it, looked at me from 3 feet away and she's like, oh yeah, that's a mosquito bite. I'm like, it's lumpy and it's like 5 inches big. I'm like, it looks like an alligator skin. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so
Can you
weird.
post a picture on Instagram and have people
I bet the LadyGang will know.
I do too.
I was going to post it in the Facebook group.
Please.
It's so gross looking. I'm like, is it too yucky for Instagram?
No,
nothing.
Okay.
Also, it's not gross. You sent me a picture and it just looks like a rash.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to post it in the Facebook group because I'm like, it's so bizarre. And it just like starts in like little patches all over my body. So I've gone through everything from like eczema. You said it wasn't psoriasis, shingles.
I am the psoriasis expert.
I know. Okay, so my bad week is I'm never listening to Instagram again for advice because everybody recommended that I read Verity except for Kelty. I'm going to get to this in a second. I was in a time crunch. I did not have time to order the book that you recommended, and I was supposed to get it from you, but I forgot. So I got Verity. It is the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. The worst writing I have ever read. It reads like shitty ass fan fiction. There's so much sex in the book, but like the way that she writes about it is so bad. And I just wanted to read one little excerpt that really set me off.
Colleen Hoover's never coming on the podcast.
I don't need her to. It's so
you don't
bad,
need her to.
and she's not going to. She would never.
No.
But it reads like fan fiction. I'm like, this seems like a fanfic that was written on like LiveJournal back in the day. The writing she's such a bad writer. Anyways, so she ends up having like sex with this guy that I'm like, it's whatever. I have so many notes.
Let's just say I do like the log line. I did enjoy the plot.
Okay, but you know what's so funny? I read because I had to buy another book from the airport because then I was gonna buy The Court of Thorn and Roses, or I did, and everybody's like, it sucks. And I was like, I thought this was the best book ever.
No.
Anyways, so I bought, it's called The Housemaid. It's by Frida something or other.
Yeah.
It's literally the same premise as Verity, but it's like better written. It's the same thing. It's this girl that's down on her luck, and then she moves into this house with a married couple and she falls in love with the guy. It's the same book, but it's better. But anyways, this is the thing. She goes, I pull the pillow. Okay, so she has sex with him, right? She goes, I pull the pillow off my face and I place it under my hips, lifting them so that everything he just left inside me doesn't seep out. Ew. And again,
That's not why you put the pillow under. You put the pillow under so he can find your clit.
Yes.
Everybody knows that.
And it's like, she's like, they just had sex without a condom and he's like still married to the wife that like, oh my God. And so, oh my God, it's so bad.
The wife who's faking being brain dead in the bedroom upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what this is like, first of all, I'm going to speak on behalf of like women out there. This feels very like reminiscent of people who like, no, I'm not going to say it. I was entertained enough reading it. Like I was not sitting there.
Yeah.
I definitely had moments where I was like, oh, that wasn't written like really that eloquently, but like I can move past it because I'm like into this sexy story. I don't know what kind of pervert I am. So, but I'm going to say this. You're not like other girls. We know this already.
Yes.
There's a reason that you watch people being brutally murdered and then you like go off to sweet dreams about frogs. Like you're not don't ask the LadyGang community for book recommendations. Me and Kelty can, right? Like we have palettes that are different. Not Kelty, I'm not saying like you have bad taste.
When the minute you put the things up and then I saw you chose Verity, I said, oh no, a mistake has been made. And not that, listen, not for you.
All of her books, that was the one I thought could potentially.
Because it's like dark. And listen, darker. I will say this.
Coho is not for you.
I was never bored. And I was like, I have to finish this book because I got to see what happens. Like there was no sense of like, and that's what people were saying.
So you were entertained.
I was entertained, but it was so badly written. Like the writing was just, there was like not a single like complex word in there. Like she didn't use thesaurus.com.
She knows her audience.
It's the LadyGang podcast as a book. Like not a complex word, very easy to understand, a little bit stupid.
It's also
stupid, but comforting.
It's also like half of the LadyGang books. Like it's not exactly.
No. I will say I'm a better writer than Colleen Hooper.
You're gonna have people coming for you.
You are. She's not a good.
Here's the thing.
She's
a good storyteller, I guess.
It's not
but
for you. It's not for you.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, The Housemaid, I haven't finished yet, but I'm like, this is at least like a better written book of the same story. I wonder which one came first because it's like literally a copy. I didn't even mean to, but I'm like, here we go. We're going into a dark house in the middle of nowhere with a down on her luck, right? Like Jesus.
We're just a really simple species, you know? Like we really,
That's why we need to make our own LadyGang smut books.
Oh, it can't be hard. Obviously,
I could chat GPT that tomorrow. I already have the idea. 2 girls falling in love with the same rock star.
Let's do it. And like this book, I was like, how many pages is it? 200 pages, big text. I was like, this would take 2 days to write.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, I have.
You know how Swifties come for us occasionally?
Yeah, the
co-hosts are coming for you.
Whatever. I'll take it. I'll take this as a threat to write a better book. And I will. Kelty and I will. And you can be on it too, Becca. But you don't.
No, thank you.
Okay. So my bad week is that I did the thing that I do, which is like I'm the organized chaos of life. So I did this thing where I was like, I was really in a chaosy place and I was like, I need to clean everything and get organized because you know how I started the year? I started the year with my work bag and my pouches, like Bethany Frankel said, and I have my electronics pouch and my makeup pouch. And then I got the e-job where I'm at the same place every day. So I stopped carrying my 30 pounds of pouches and was just like, I'll just bring what I need for work and I'll leave stuff at the office. So my makeup pouch had been squandered. So I did a clean out. I organized. I got all the minis. I wiped down the messes from tour. Like I got it all ready. And then I went on a trip to Vegas. And so I went to Vegas and I got to Vegas and I realized I have forgotten my newly organized perfect makeup case in the bathroom. I have no makeup.
No.
I'm in Las Vegas for sexy date night. Chris and I are going to see Robin Thicke and Christina Aguilera. I have a leather outfit, a leather daddy outfit. I got no makeup. So I say to Chris, I kind of forgot my makeup. He goes, 10% Kelty. Of course you did. So we go out in the heat and we go to Walgreens because I'm like, I'm not spending a ton of, I'm not going to Sephora. I already have the Mac Daddy makeup. So we go to Walgreens and I'm in the like, what's the cheapest makeup I can buy like aisle, but thank God for like the Elf of the world. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's inexpensive, but that shit works. So anyway, I was so excited. So I'm picking up the makeup and I'm like, I need an eye. And he's looking at me like, you need all this stuff. I'm like, I need an eyebrow pencil. I needed everything. It was so, well then, so that was my bad week. My good week is then I got recognized. Two girls, and it was so funny because Chris was so offended after.
Why?
Because they
didn't recognize him.
Oh my God, Kelty, I love you. I love the LadyGang. I didn't see you, but I saw him. But they didn't even look at him. They just pointed to him like he was a thing. And then they were like, can we get a picture? And so we got a picture. It was really cute. And I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I forgot my makeup. I'm buying makeup right now. And they're like, oh my God, that happens. We're here for the LSU game or whatever. Anyway, and Chris walked away. He's like, they just treated me like a piece of meat.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh my God.
Because tall Chris, I never get recognized because I don't know. But anyway, they recognized Chris because his face was poking out of the Milani makeup aisle, you know? Anyway, so hi girls.
So
Thanks for being in the LadyGang.
That is a fun challenge that I once had as well, where I had left my makeup somewhere and I had to go to a dinner and I just stopped by a drugstore and like having to buy a full face of makeup with stuff you've never used before, like half you have. It's a fun challenge.
Yeah.
The other thing that really pissed me off is that because this is like, I think the only Walgreens right on the strip of Las Vegas, everything was triple price. Like,
So you should have gone to Sephora.
like, you know that like, you know, no name brand pencil lip liner or lip gloss that's like $4.29 or even 99 cents at the CVS in Ventura. It was like $6.99. My full face of makeup was $130.
Oh my God,
and I wanted
have gone to Sephora
and I didn't look that great. To be honest, some of it was not great. Like that concealer caked. Okay. That was not the Kogan dough. All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up next, we have a queen of country.
The LadyGang.
Our guest today is a Grammy and CMA and ACM award-winning Grand Ole Opry and Kentucky Music Hall of Fame member who got her start working at the happiest place on earth, Dollywood. Her current album, Hummingbird, that Becca was literally just texting us about before you got on, features the smash We Don't Fight Anymore with Chris Stapleton, no big deal, and she's currently on tour. But this country music queen is a relatable crown-wearing crooner. During her breakout years in Hollywood, she had a quickie failed divorce, just like me. I mean, who hasn't, right? And she's been open and honest about some very serious health issues lately. She leaves it all in her lyrics. Our personal favorite, Nobody Likes a Liar, but Everybody Loves Revenge. From her song Truck on Fire, please welcome to the LadyGang, Carly Pearce. Woo!
Welcome. Thank you.
Girl, I mean, I just want to get this out of the way. I'm sorry people keep talking about it, but I also had an early career 11-month marriage, and I understand, and that's what I love about you, is that you were like, you know what? But we have so many girls in the LadyGang who they sort of secretly write us anonymously, and they're like, I'm having second thoughts. Should I do the wedding? And I'm always like, I knew before. I was like, don't do this, Kelty. But then you get in the huff puff of everyone like you're planning and you don't want to disappoint people. It would have been easier to just pull the engagement. And that's why I kind of like in the J-Lo moment we're having right now, I'm like, just, you know.
Totally. Well, and for me, I feel like so many girls have come to me, especially being like a woman in country music and in the South, and you know, you have to stay married forever. You're going to bad places. I've had so many women come to me and say, I am leaving my marriage because you left yours. And it's like, we don't need to stay in things that don't serve us. And like you said, like the minute that I knew it wasn't working, I had to get out.
Yeah.
Good
but
for
but hard to do that in front of the world.
Yeah, for sure. Wasn't great.
Wasn't your favorite moment.
It wasn't my favorite moment.
But now you're living your best, very, 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 you know, best life. For country music, the fact that you've been able to achieve so much in such a short amount of time, like, are you like, I'm doing it? Like, I'm it?
No, definitely not. I'm it. I still have moments. It's so funny. I guess it's probably like something that all of us deal with at some form or fashion in our careers. But I have like a bit of imposter syndrome of like, wait, did it? Because I worked so hard for so many years and heard so many no's that even sometimes if I have a meeting like on Music Row in Nashville, I think about 22-year-old me and like all the trauma. And I'm like, wait, do people still care about me, or do they care about me? But I mean, it's wild to think about just the way that my life has changed in 8 years and all of the crazy twists and turns and the success that I've had. And just I wanted to be a part of country music from the time I was 5 years old. And I just wanted to make impactful music in the way that all of my favorite, especially female country artists, did and were huge influences for me. So now to think that I'm part of that next generation, it is like a very wild feeling.
Well, it's like it takes how long to make an overnight sensation too? Like nobody just gets plucked out and discovered, or maybe some do, but they don't usually last.
Totally.
For like me personally, and I think for a lot of girls, like I learned about you through the Chris Stapleton duet. Will you tell us like how that happened, and did you shit your pants? Because I would have shit my pants getting that phone call.
I shit my pants very a lot during the process. Like when I first heard it, when he said yes, when I first heard it, when we sang together. Yeah, it's actually like a crazy story, but I wrote this song and I wrote it not as a duet, not as a feature, not ever intending for anybody to sing it except me. So when I got the demo back for it that my co-writer had made, I just heard him singing on it. Like I'm sure so many people have heard Chris Stapleton in their head singing on a song with them.
I do too.
It's like
he's on this podcast right now.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of success with different collaborations through the years, and the other collaborations that I've had on my records, they've always come off of that like feeling that I got. And I had that same feeling again where I was like, I just want to ask if he would sing on this song.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did not know him well. I've seen him at award shows. We're both from the state of Kentucky, but I was like, I know his wife better than I know him. So I DM'd her.
No.
Yes, I slid into her DMs.
Cool.
And I just said, hey, this is super weird, but I wanted it to go straight to you guys. Like, I have this song. I'm sure you get this a lot, but I'd love for Chris to hear it. And she literally sent me a DM back and she's like, I'm vacuuming right now. Call me.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I called her and she was like, we get asked to do a lot of things. If we don't think it's the right fit, is it okay if we're honest? And I said, I literally just want him to hear the song. If he passes, totally fine. Well, a few months went by and I was like, months. So I was like, he ain't liking it. Like he doesn't like it so much that he ain't responding. And I was going to the Grammys for the first time. I was nominated. And the night before I won my first Grammy, I randomly get a text from his wife. And she's so casual. And she's like, hey, just wanted to let you know Chris listened to the song and he'd love to do it with you. Then fast forward, we were nominated this year in the same category that I had won the year before over the song. So it's just wild. But that for me is like one of my greatest, I think forever, to be able to sing with him will be one of the greatest things ever.
What a good lesson too, like in what we do, which is obviously a much smaller scale, like smaller world.
Nobody's inviting us to the Grammys.
Well, no one's inviting us, but also like, we have guests that we're like, we really want this person, but I'm too embarrassed to go direct. So then you end up going through 4 channels. And by the time it reaches that person, they don't even know how much it means to you because they're like, who's asking? I don't know. So what a good reminder to just go direct if that's something you can do.
Yeah.
And be willing to hear no, but also like what a gesture. It's so much more important than like managers and agents and assistants and all that stuff, like cutting out the middleman.
Totally. I think there's still just such like there's like a lost art in just person to person.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the day of social media, we kind of have direct lines to people. And like you said, like they might say no and it might not work out. But I mean, a lot of times I go directly to somebody just because I would rather them have that personal connection with me. And not that we don't love like all of the teams, but there are so many layers to it to where it's like you don't know really the intent behind something. And I just wanted him to feel like this is about me. This isn't about my team saying this would be a good thing for my career. This is literally, I heard your voice on my song in my head.
It's so cool.
It's so nice.
Awesome.
Now, Jack's our resident stage coacher. I want to ask about, 56 Degrees of Carly. So but Jack, get yours ready because I know
what?
just I know that you toured with Tim McGraw, and Tim McGraw is my like hall pass, like for country music. Like I find him incredible. I know he's a smaller man, but like very sexual, and love him and Faith. Not coming for you, Faith, clearly, but like I just want to know in person, does he give you that? Like he's always a little bit
Tingle?
sweaty. He's super tanned. Like he's always like, I just got back from Mexico.
He's very vascular too.
He's like, yes, he's giving like my veins are pumping the blood. Like, do you?
And he's giving, I still my wife like a lot, and she likes it.
Yes. Can you like give us like an inside Tim McGraw life, like just story, please, Carly? Maybe not that deep, but
no, truly. I mean, he's hot. Like he's hot. He walks with a swagger. The two of them together though, like I don't know if Faith would be my hall pass or Tim. Like Faith has her own just like, it's Faith Hill. I don't know how to explain it. It's so funny. I have such a fun story about them and just their relationship. But I was watching, she comes out like fangirl, watches his shows all the time and like dances like she's in college, like, and it's her boyfriend.
That's so
I'm not
cute.
kidding. Like, it really, I was kind of like, is it real? It's real.
Oh.
And he performs, and her iconic Breathe music video is on the massive screen. So she's like rolling around in the sheets. She looks at me and she grabs my arm and she goes, "What's going on right now?" Because the whole crowd was like going nuts. And I was like, "You're in the sheets." And she goes, "I am." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "I don't know why he does that. I don't get it." And I literally just looked at her and I was like, "I do."
Yeah. Like, look at the audience, you know.
He points to her and she's like, "Look at him." And like, he's so tight and buff. And I watched him work out while I ate cookies on my bus, like out my window. Yeah, he's everything you want him to be. And they are everything that you want them to be.
You know,
my God,
when
I
I
love
first saw a video of you performing, like I'd heard your voice a bunch, but I saw you were doing some live thing with another artist. I don't even remember who he was because he was forgettable. You were not. And I was like, she gives me Faith Hill vibes because there shouldn't be somebody who's that beautiful that actually has talent. Like God doesn't give with both hands like that usually. So I expected somebody less attractive because your voice is so beautiful and you're so talented. And then I saw you and I was like, this is very Faith Hill-esque.
That is so nice.
Yes, Faith Hill.
Anytime I feel like I've told her, I was like, people think that I am reminiscent of you. And she's like, I get it. And I was like, really? You get it? I love you so much. I covered one of her songs in my show and she like danced at front of house to the song. Like they're just really good people. I don't know how that makes them like hotter. The way that they treat people for me, because like not everybody treats everybody great. And
true.
They do.
Jack, do you have any insight? Like, do you have a country music crush that you would like to know about?
I mean, I'm such like a Luke Combs girl, and like he is my favorite. And then I also just love the new country that's kind of coming out, like Jelly Roll and like even like a Shabuzi. Like I love that it's kind of widening the like whatever. I mean, country music I always feel like has been so just like big club, like everybody just come in. So I just love to see that happening with artists that you aren't used to kind of seeing.
Totally. I mean, you want to talk about one of the sweetest people. Like when I first heard about Jelly Roll, I was like, who is Jelly Roll? Like that's a person. And then I played a show with him and literally like I would have bought all of his merch and been like his biggest fan. He is the kindest, just most genuine, very authentic. Like I came from shit and look at what I've done, I've overcome, and just like speaking to a group of people that so desperately needed him, and you see that and you're just like, this is almost like we're at church. Like he's almost a preacher when he talks. Like you're like, what is going on? And then honestly, like Shabuzi, like the CMA nominations just came out yesterday and he was nominated for like the big awards. And I was like, as he should be, because that was the biggest song of the year. And it's just so cool. I think it's a really cool time in country music.
Yeah. I love it.
But it's also a very polarizing time because of Beyonce. I need to know what you think. So so for people that don't know, yes, the CMA nominations came out and Beyonce did not receive any nominations for her country music project. And a lot of people are feeling, the Beehive is feeling a sort of way. I would say as, an entertainment journalist from my perspective, and then I want to hear everybody's perspective. I think that the Beyonce issue is not so much that it's Beyonce trying to do country music. It's that Beyonce's fame, I think, was bigger than the record. So like you say, like everyone's like, pour me another shot of whiskey. Like we all, whether we want to or not, know the I had some help, not like those songs of the year and albums of the year, like whether we wanted or bought them, we heard them everywhere. And I think with Beyonce, the problem she gets into is that she's so big now that like everyone knew she put out a country album, but I don't necessarily know. And this may be Beehive, don't come for me. This may be in my own thing, but like I don't think country radio really started playing. I don't think the singles went anywhere in a big way other than You're Just Beyonce. So maybe that's
Texas Hold'em was like the big.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that, maybe, I don't know. What do you think, Carly? You're in the world. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think like, and again, I don't want the Beehive coming after me either, but I will say, and I mean, this is as honest as I can be. I think the reason I think you're seeing so many artists coming into country music is, to me, I feel like other entertainment worlds, kind of what you were saying to piggyback off of, like, it's a big family. Like, we really are very close. And I think it is humanizing them in a moment where maybe they just need to feel grounded and feel, like they're writing truth and writing like from a real place of authenticity. Like our songwriters in this town are so amazing. So like it totally makes sense to me. And I'm like, please, like it's amazing to see what Post Malone is doing, what Beyonce did. However, I think Beyonce said this wasn't a country record. So to me, it's like, I bet she's not worried about getting CMA nominations.
She's not worried.
You know what I mean? I think she's kind of like, yeah, I did this. Like this wasn't just a country record. It's not. I think Post Malone now has really much like put his flag in this format, and he's like, I want to find like real estate in this place. Like I'm pretty sure he has a home in Nashville now. Like he's working with like all of the producers and the musicians that we all use in the studio. Like he's being very intentional about that. And I just think Beyonce, I think she made a cool record. And I think like she took some of that,
Houston
Texas
swag
influence and like the swag of it. And like she likes the Western wear and whatever, but I would have to believe that Beyonce's not sitting at home worried about her CMA nominations. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think she's doing just fine.
Yeah. She's like, I just wanted to wear a cute fringe jacket, everyone. Relax.
I mean,
girl, I get it.
I don't think she wanted, like, she said it wasn't just a country record multiple times on the record. Right. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
Do you have a signature look? Like, do you have something how like Lainey Wilson has her bootleg, her like little bell bottoms, and like it just made me think, like, do you, when you perform, is there something that you're always wearing? And Carrie Underwood's always in shorts or underwear, like that.
She's got those legs, girl.
She should be, but like,
I would be in underwear too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's so cool. I mean, Lainey just talk about somebody who people are like overnight success, and I'm like, no, she was
been
not
around.
Yeah. She's been here for 12 years. She lived in a trailer on a piece of property. Like, get off her back.
Yeah.
She's so niche and like her cool girl thing that she has. For me, like I kind of go album to album. So like there's a very specific wardrobe for me that goes with, my album 29. It was very I joked and said it was kind of like pilgrim porn because I was wearing these, like, in like a sexy way, but these like button-up shirts with, my little bow ties and like very equestrian, but also like trying to be sexy, if that makes sense. So I carried that on and had kind of like more of an old school feel to it. But with Hummingbird, it's like, there was a lot of feathers and a lot of like more whimsical things. And as I'm preparing for tour, it's very much in that vein. So I kind of like, I don't want to, and again, like it's working for Lainey. And I'm like, is she going to wear bell bottoms forever? Because like she posted a picture of her in shorts and I was like,
it doesn't look right.
It's like Mickey Mouse without his head.
Totally. Yeah. I'm like, she can't do that.
Well, that was like Shania, I feel like, did that. Like with each album, she just was in like which I think is a cool way to do it. And then you don't get sick of it.
Yeah.
You don't, and you can
and I will say
people.
Like, it's really like Lainey, I just love her and I love everything that she's doing right now because I feel like she's almost like elevating her bell bottoms, which I didn't know you could do that. But like I saw her at Fashion Week in a photo and I was like, you're wearing like bell bottoms and you look like the most high fashion, beautiful, like it's just, I think you just have to be able to do that. And I don't have anything that I can think of that I could elevate and continue on for years.
You're like,
Forever
it's
and ever.
my face.
Yeah, I'm like, I
that's
just think I need change. I just like to change things.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, so there's something very important that I need to bring up, and it is very embarrassing for me on the
Oh yeah.
Carly, okay, so a few weeks ago I was on this podcast, and my bad week, we do good week, bad week, this before you got on, but anyway, my bad week was that I had recently seen a really good publicist friend of mine at E! News, and I was inquiring about you for a project that we're doing, and I was like, "What's up?" Like, "Oh my God, I love her and I love her music. She's so great." And she's like, "I don't think you do." And I came back to the podcast and I let everyone know that I had inadvertently offended, or maybe some people had thought that I had maybe not been a fan of yours.
Given a dirty look.
I gave a stank face on a red carpet, and people thought that I may have unliked you.
Directed at you.
And I came on the podcast and I was like, the stank face did it again. And the girls would now like to just explain to you about my face.
Okay, so Kelty is, I had this conversation with her. He was new. He's been around for almost a year. Prince Derek, her assistant. He drove me to the airport one day. He had just started on the job. And he's like, "Do you have any advice for me, like working for Kelty?" And I said, "She is a robot. And she powers down. And she's no longer, her soul is not in her body." I think it's because she's had so many years on red carpets having to like learn to do that, like, you know, with celebrities and long hours on the feet. Also, she gets treated like shit regularly, or did back in the day. She was like earning her way in the business. I said to him, "She'll make faces at you that you swear she wants your whole family dead. And if you were to ask her what just went through her mind, it has nothing to do with you." It is. We've had guests come on the podcast where we've had to finish and I've had to pull them aside. This was when we were doing them in person. And I'd be like, "Just so you know, Kelty loves you. She's just gone now. Like, she can't actually
She's gone now. She's exited her body."
It's like a handler when you work with like an animal on a film set and they're like, "Kelty's wrapped for the day. Like, she can't perform anymore." So that, Carly, is Kelty. And so we're so sorry that no one warned you about this when you came in contact with Kelty for the first time.
I'm like, I don't even remember you giving me a dirty look.
Oh, well, I don't know what happened, but anyway, it was
somebody saw it and
somebody saw it and was like, no, you hate her. And I was like, I do not hate her. I welcome her into my world in all ways. But I actually thought this would be really interesting conversation, because on my end, what happens is that I'm at these red carpets and like, I'm getting thrown 4,000 people, and there's all different levels of publicists, right? There's like label publicists, personal publicists that I have relationships with, and they give me an eye from across the carpet. And we're like, "Yeah, you're bringing me Selena Gomez right now." Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have a thing, and then there's other people, and then people skip you and you're like, "What the f-? Like, what a bitch." Like, I take it all personally until I like leave work. So, but from your perspective, like I'm so interested to have this conversation. You walk on the carpet, people take your picture, and then there's like 47 of us just staring at you. What is that like? And like, how do you handle that? Because it seems like it would be overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, I would be lying if I said red carpets are fun. I'm actually like a pretty introverted person at heart. So the idea, which is very funny because of what I do, it's very contradicting, but I would like to walk in a room and no one look at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I am on a carpet, I usually have to have a glass or two of wine so that I can get to that place. I think the weirdest part for me is like, you know, your publicist, I joke and call them my handlers.
Yeah.
But like your handlers are like vetting for you and you're standing there just kind of like, who wants to talk to me? And
yeah,
like,
it's the weirdest.
Oh, they would rather talk to that person. So I have to wait my turn. Or, oh, okay, that one wants to talk to me. Okay, this one really wants to talk to me, but I don't have time for them. So I have to wave and I look like a bitch. It's just all the chaos of that to where it's just, and then you have small talk and it's just awkward. I just think they're awkward.
It's like high school all over again too. It's like you always know like you must feel so strange because you like go off in your little bubble and you're writing and you're creative and you can kind of be like more introverted. And then you get thrown out there and it's so apparent where everybody lands on the food chain. Like
Yes.
it's just like one big reminder for your like, you know, month of where you're at. And then it really would fuck with my head. Like that would be, you're like, I'm a loser. Nobody's gonna want to talk to me. It's just like high school all over again.
Or like, if you see them spend, I've had this happen before where like they spend a lot of time with somebody and then they ask you 2 questions and like, okay, thank you so much. Bye. And you're like,
ouch.
I've done it. I've done
and then
it.
you have to like act like you are confident. It was weird.
So great.
It's a very weird life.
It's so strange. It's really strange.
It's a really hard thing to manage too, because like this whole thing that I was just, who the f- was I talking? Oh, I was in Pilates and one of the big publicists for the Emmys was on the machine next to me and we were talking after. And I was like, can you bring your people on time? Like to the Emmys. I was like, bring them on time. Because there's a thing that's happened in Hollywood now, which you would never know. This is very inside baseball. But like, if the carpet is from like 3 to 5, right? No one wants to come at 3 because like the earlier you come, the bigger loser you are. Like that's kind of how people look at it. It's like a game, right? It's like the opener, the pre-opener, and then like the main event. So everyone comes now at 4:30 for the 5 o'clock show. And you as a reporter, I'm standing there and I have written 9 questions for every person who's nominated, presenting, whatever. I'm ready to go, but no one comes. Like, I mean, people come obviously, but like, it's like the guy that's like best, you know, banjo on, you know, whatever. And I'm like, it's great to see you. I'm probably not going to put this on E! News, but like, great to meet you, Hank, you know? But like everyone's coming and they give you half an hour. So then what we do is we end up getting in this place where like, well, I'm going to get murdered if I don't get Dolly Parton. But like I'm standing in front of this other person and I have to like I know the eyeballs. You're like looking out of the corner of your eyes and you see the next person. You're like, okay, great to see you. Bye. And like, it's just such a thing. So really it's, you know, we need everyone to be on time. And I appreciate sometimes.
Are we really using Carly's time on LadyGang to discuss the logistics of what you need from publicists and all?
Okay, no, we're not.
Kelsey really needed to vent about her own issues.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. We're moving on. Sorry. Thank you. See, this is what they do. I'm a robot. Okay. It is now time. It is now time for something very special. So Carly went incredibly viral just a few weeks ago. So you're wearing your short shorts and a dick is in the audience. Talk to me about it.
This video was great.
Okay, so I'll take you through the whole thing. It's very funny. So I have always been somebody that's like, you know, I try to hold myself with class and I never talk back. And I, you know, there have been a lot of people. I've been doing this at this level for 8 years now. And you kind of have to bite your tongue, whatever. Mm-hmm. I was at a show and it was like 5 songs into my set. And I said, and you know, when I'm on a festival, I'm a different type of artist, meaning a lot of times my music needs to be digested maybe when you haven't been drinking for 48 hours and you're not like in a field wanting to party. So sometimes it's a funny world for me to live in at a country music festival, okay? But I just do what I do and it's like whatever. So I'm up there and I'm like, let me tell you guys a little bit about me because I'm setting up my next song. And it was a song about the Grand Ole Opry. It was about my grandparents, the Pearce side of my family. They wanted this. It was a moment that mattered to me. And I hear somebody very far away from me yell, "Nobody cares." I was not drunk. I was not having a bad day. But for whatever reason, I saw rage and I saw red. And I stopped talking and I said, "Who said that? Who said that?" And I walk over and it was so funny because all these people were like,
that guy.
he had a moment. He could have been like, "I'm sorry," you know, or like back down. He looked me in the eye and he raised his hand and smiled at me.
Oh my God.
So then I became backwoods Kentucky and said the F word, also said, we have no time for dicks. The best part about it is my dad happened to fly up for that show and was in the pit. I turn around and look at him and he's just chugging his beer looking at me. And I was like, "Oh, sorry, Dad. I'm sorry." And after the show, like my entire team, nobody knew what to say to me. It was like silent. And we get on the bus and one of my band members who has like 2 little kids and he's like the dad of our band. He just looks at me and he goes, I liked it. And I like called my manager and I'm like, hey, I just want to like let you know that this happened. And I'm sure it's like not going to be a big deal. And so that night there was like one video on TikTok and my assistant was like, I promise you this is going to be everywhere. And I was like, no, it won't be. It's fine. It's fine. The next day we wake up, there's like a few more videos, but I was like, oh, it's fine. Nothing's like big. And then like 3 hours later, Kelsey Ballerini and Lainey Wilson texted me within 30 seconds of each other. And I was like, uh-oh. And I'm not kidding. I have people come up to me in the grocery store now that are like, I loved what you said to that man. And I'm like, we work so hard to be like compelling on social media and have like our music go viral. And then when you say the F word and say you have no time for dicks, that's what does it. So whatever.
Of course. Oh my God. I
loved it so much. I loved it so much.
But you know what the best part about it is? He made a TikTok and commented on one of the videos because he's the owner of the local bar in the town. And he said, come to my bar and I'll tell you the real story.
Ew, dude.
I was like, gross, get out of here.
Gross, never. Gross. Oh, well, good job. Good job.
Yeah.
It also, I hope it taught a massive lesson, like to people, because I think people forget that the artists can actually clock a lot of the time, especially like a music festival. The house lights aren't down. It's broad daylight. Yeah. And it's like, you have like the opportunity to be watching an artist and like, you guys see a lot of what happens out there and people forget that and they get up. And I think it was a really good reminder that you're not going to just pretend you don't see it. Bad behavior.
And also, I'm a human being, and people who just like bully at shows, bully on social media, it's just like, do you think that we're not real people? Like, that's the thing I hate about social media, and I just hate like this like ownership to us in this like day and age where it's like, I am still a human being that has feelings. I wrote this song, like, you are now making me insecure. Mm-hmm. Do you think that I'm not going to like call you out for your actions? It's like, and as a female in country music, the boys do it all the time and it's cool.
Yep.
But when I did it, it was like, oh, uh-oh. Like, it was kind of a moment where I was like, oh, did I mess up by doing that? When in reality, I'm like, no, I should be able to handle myself in my shows if somebody's not acting right.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, we have something prepared for you. It is a game called I Don't Have Time for Dicks. And we are each going to go around the table and we are going to have a rant about the dick that we don't have time for this week on the podcast. Becca, will you start?
Sure. So we travel a lot. We go through airports a lot. And, for the most part, it's a reminder that humanity is quite disgusting. But it's also quite obnoxious. And the biggest dick in any airport is the guy who's sitting at the gate with AirPods in, talking on a conference call about his deals. And then it doesn't end there. He stays on the phone and he scans his app to get on the plane. Obviously, he's in first class because he's a dick. And he's walking on the plane and then he sits down in full voice as if he's the only person in this airport, on this plane, on this jet bridge. It is his world and no one else matters. And it is always a white man. He's always middle-aged and he's always in a douchey outfit, like a pleated pant.
Mostly and a flip-flop sometimes.
A flip-flop cargo short combo.
Flip-top.
Right, that's another dick. But this is like the specific dick. It's the upper middle class white man dick.
Yeah.
His business call about his merger is so important that I want to hear about it. So that's
and
my
he's
dick
excited. He gives you the look. Okay, Jack.
Well, that's so funny because mine is also airport related because I truly think the airports really show the worst of humanity. Mm-hmm. And I just came home from Europe recently and the dick that I don't have time for is the people that try to cut in line to get to somewhere that we're all going to be at. And like, you're not going to get there any earlier than anybody. So people cutting in line for security or for customs or to get on the plane. I'm like, we're all going to the same place. And it's not helping you by trying to get like two people. I hate when people do it when they're trying to leave the plane.
That's the one for me is that leaving the plane.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten in fights.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I always like stand my ground in like the middle of the plane. I'm like, you're not getting 2 seats ahead. Like you're not cutting in front of me to get one person ahead. I don't understand what it is with people that have to do that, but like they have to just get 2 people ahead and it's just going to make them happy. So I can't stand it.
Okay. Carly?
I know. I'm sitting here trying to think about mine. I mean, with what I do for a living, I have a lot of young girls or just women in general come to my shows and they make these signs of all these just ridiculous things that dicks do to them. And so for any girl who has ever made a sign where like my boyfriend broke up with me and then dated my best friend, or we found out we were dating the same guy and now we're friends, or my boyfriend broke up with me because yada, yada, yada. I don't have time for any of you. All those things.
God.
All the dicks.
Men,
All the dicks.
just in general.
I love it. My dick is, I made the mistake again of trying to invite a newly found fame influencer onto the podcast. And the thing is that like, look at Carly. Look, she's sitting in front of, on the left-hand side of her thing. I see multiple records. Like these are awards you've won. We've got Grammys. I mean, she's like a certified talented human and like lovely, on time. Yes, would love to be on the podcast team. Set it up, lovely. Tried to get a Love Island influencer. You've been famous for 3 seconds. It was like I was trying to book Jesus Christ on the podcast. It was like, well, she has a meeting on Thursday and like, it's very important. I was like, really? It's that important? Like more important than they were
more important than the LadyGang?
Well, I mean, but then they were like, well, she's like really like her schedule is so crazy till the 18th. I'm like, really? More crazy than Carly Pearce, who has the ACM and the People's Choice Awards and a tour and like flying from her home in Nashville to Dallas right now? Like, go fuck yourself. Influencers, you need to just calm down and realize this is your 15 minutes of fame. And the way you treat me now, I will never forget it because I'm a vengeful bitch.
She is.
She is.
I have one more dick about that. I once went on a date with somebody that was on a reality show. This is like years ago.
The Bachelor?
Maybe. And
wait, can you say who?
No.
Damn it.
No. I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
But he, like, we were out and I had a couple hits and I still was not like, I'm famous. Like, but I also had like a reason to be famous, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
a skill?
Yeah, I had a skill. And I mean, one of my dear friends is one of the Bachelor girls. So it's not that, but it's, we were out and literally, I'm not kidding y'all, like the whole night he was like, do you hear them? They're talking about like, they know that it's me. And I was like, we never went out again. Literally the whole time he was just like, yeah, you hear them? Like they're talking about me. And I'm just like, I don't know what it is about like influence, reality TV. Like what? No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ew.
Major dick vibes.
Wow. That is a boner killer.
The low of the low.
Boner fucking killer. Okay, well, you have to go because you have to go on tour. You have
big deal.
You have a job. You guys, the new album Hummingbird is out right now. It is so fantastic. You can check out Carly on her tour. She has dates listed right on her Instagram at Carly Pearce. Very easy to find. Gorgeous. We don't have
Carly,
time for...
I'm upset with you though. You're not coming to Austin.
I know. It's funny. I love Austin like so much, and I feel like I never tour there. I don't know if it's because I feel like Austin, they think commercial country music like we're stupid or whatever, but
no.
I never. I'm like, I need to come there.
You really, please do, because we would love to see you.
Perfect.
Sorry for interrupting you, Kelty. This was all about me. I needed to know why.
No, I love it. And we'll see you in a few weeks. And
yes.
I'm going to do like at least 15 questions. So save 35 minutes for me. No one.
I'll show up early and
you better be right on time.
Just don't forget she's a robot. She doesn't know what her face is doing.
She might look through you still.
I might look through you, but I'm looking through you into your soul. And I love that soul. Yeah. You're wonderful. Congratulations on all your success. Don't be a dick to Carly. And we will
see you next
Tuesday.